called the student over, and it was Tate Muir. It was crushing, and I had to help him. I just needed to save him for his mom. I just kept talking to him.
And what were you saying?
That I love him, that I needed him to hang with me.
An emotional day in court. An Oxford High School assistant principal sharing how she desperately tried to save the life of one of the school shooting victims, Tate Muir. Now, this is the second day of that hearing that will determine whether the killer will ever have a chance to walk out of prison.
This testimony will just have your heart drop every time you hear it. The shooter's attorneys calling their own expert witnesses who testified about his mental state and whether he can be rehabilitated. Fox News' Charlie Lankin is in the courtroom and joins us live with more. And Charlie, this was just gut-wrenching testimony we heard again today.
Yeah, it really was gut-wrenching testimony from the people there that were there at the day of the shooting. I'm going to get more into that a little bit later, but today was really the day for the defense to show what they had. Now, we started off with the shooter for Oxford High School entering the courtroom. Take a look at how he gets into the courtroom. Lots of sheriffs you can see there, obviously in chains. And one word about the shooter. We are not going to use his name. That was a request made by the prosecutor as well as the victims. There was some testimony yesterday where he wanted the notoriety. So we're not going to give him the notoriety. He is a convicted murderer after all. Now, speaking of victims, many were in the courtroom today. As you can see, that they lined up the courtroom there. But today was the day where the defense had to argue that the shooter of Oxford should not get life in prison, but a term of years. The minimum would be 25 years before he'd be eligible for parole. A number of experts testified, a couple of doctors. One basically says that the shooter can be rehabilitated, and another doctor that basically said that a 15-year-old, he was 15 at the time of the shooting, his brain not developed. But there was some cross-examination to that. Take a look.
Would he be participating in any sort of like anger management or cognitive behavior programming?
Yes, there is anger management, and that is actually a program. They have a couple of different versions of it, but certainly that's something he would be referred to. Cognitive behavioral programs too, they are there, CBT. Cognitive behavior therapy, where he's able to examine his behavior and his thoughts, what got him into that behavior to begin with.
Given that adolescents in general are already compromised with respect to their prefrontal cortical development, this then makes it further difficult. It is using resources that would be, so when embarked on a problematic, impetuous, impulsive, otherwise ill-suited plan, a lot of that prefrontal resource is being used to carry out the plan.
Are you aware the defendant took a gun and strode up to a girl sitting against a locker who had her head covered, put the gun right to her head and executed her? Were you aware of that?
No, I was not.
Ooh, very tough. That was gut-wrenching testimony and then very difficult cross-examination. I went to law school. I didn't go to medical school, so a lot of this activity, the science of the brain development was what the judge heard today. Obviously, the judge is going to have to make a decision as to whether or not the shooter's brain was not developed, so he really couldn't understand the crime, and he can be rehabilitated. That's some of the factors in the Miller hearing. Now, as far as the emotional testimony, yes, lots of emotional testimony. I'm going to have more about that at 6 o'clock. The judge has yet to make a decision because we're not done. We will all be back in court here on Tuesday morning. Hopefully this hearing will be over. Taryn, I'm live in front of the courthouse in Oakland County. I'll send it back to you.
And regarding that emotional testimony, Charlie, I mean, did the shooter, now 16 years old, did he show any sort of remorse, any sort of emotion in court today?
I'll tell you what, when the assistant principal testified, because she taught the shooter back in elementary school, you could see a little bit of emotion for the first time with the shooter. Not a lot, but enough to at least we noticed it. Other than that, he showed no emotion throughout the entire now 2-day hearing. His head was down. He walked straight ahead, as you saw when he walked in. But yes, there was just a little bit of emotion. Maybe because that assistant principal took a liking to the shooter and just wanted to help. Yeah. He's going to need some help right now because he's looking for life, or up to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And we
Karen?
know so many people in court showed emotion. They just couldn't hold it back.